What's up, invaders? It is the Martian Skylar Mars bringing you a very special interview today with 205 starting to really make waves. We've got a member from the actual Cruiserweight Classic, ladies and gentlemen. I bring to you a member of the Anoa'I family. If I said that right, I apologize if I butchered that. Sean Maluta. Sean, thank you very much for coming on to the show.
No problem, man. Thank you very much for having me on.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Now, the Cruiserweight Classic was a big part of 2016. It really has made a lot of changes in the way people look at cruiserweights in a really long time. But what was it like for you to have an experience like that? To be invited to do something with international players, hosted by WWE? Like, what was that like?
Well, for me, it was a dream come true. I've been at this for pretty much half my life now as far as training in the ring goes. And, just trying to get out there and get as much experience as possible and, just be ready for opportunities like this. Spent a lot of time growing up with my Uncle Alpha, who, I attribute, a lot of my success to. He's the guy that I still train to, with all the way up until today. The WWE was something that I was reaching for a while from various tryouts over the years. And, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity, right time, right place, right everything kind of deal. And, it just so happens that Cruiserweight Wrestling was getting hot. There's so much talent all over the world that that need to be seen from the audience. And it was just a great platform to be a part of. Just an all-star list of talent. I look to my left and I see the best that Japan has to offer. I look to my right and I see the best, Mexican talent. So it was just all a surreal thing, and I was just proud to be a part of it.
Now, what was it like to walk in that locker room of different cruiserweight competitors from around the world?
It was really cool because I've seen a lot of these guys work before. Including my opponent, Kota Ibushi, very familiar with, a lot of things that have been going on in the independent scene the last couple of years. So for me, it was cool to connect with those guys, to meet them. There's nothing but good vibes and good things to say about the locker room. Obviously I was just focused on the main goal here, and that was to do the best job possible, and to really make the Cruiserweight Classic special. So the environment was great. It was actually a week-long thing, as far as meeting at the Performance Center and things like that goes. So it was a good way to get connected with everybody, and nothing but great things.
Now, I think this would make a good transition into my next question. Is what was 2016 overall like for you? Because I mean, this was big, like beyond big.
Yeah, this has been by far the best year of my career so far. I'm only looking to capitalize and move up from here, but it was like I said, it was the biggest opportunity I ever had. It was the biggest platform that I've ever been on. I'm in there with a lot of people's favorite to win the whole thing, and recognized as being one of the best talent in the world, if not the best, with Ibushi. It's just been a crazy year. I'm very blessed and fortunate to have the opportunities I've had. I'm still a very big part of my Uncle Alpha's company in WXW, which is right outside of Orlando, Florida. I'm still busy doing that. I got a couple NXT opportunities, based off that Cruiserweight Classic match, I believe. I just went back up north in Massachusetts to wrestle for Beyond Wrestling, who I just found out is the fastest rising independent company of the year. So it's just been a lot of good stuff, man. It's just a very great year of wrestling.
And I gotta imagine that at some point in the future, maybe 2017, we could see you on 205 Live finally. I mean, this is the Cruiserweight show. You were a Cruiserweight Classic competitor. It only makes sense.
I would say there's a chance of that. there is nothing, going on as of yet as far as me with that. But I've been watching every week. A lot of those guys are my friends now, so it's pretty cool to see them doing their thing. And it's just another great platform that's been given to us cruiserweights. You know, it's just so awesome when you think about it. To think about where the division was non-existent. This time last year, and then now. You got tournaments. Now it's featured on Raw, and of course now the new show. So I think opportunity is the big word here. Like I said, 205. There's always a chance at that. I'm just gonna keep working hard and keep progressing, keep gaining my experience. Because in my eyes, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So I'm gonna keep working towards that. And you never know, man. I mean, 2017, as long as God keeps me healthy, I predict a very big year.
I do too. As a matter of fact, I see good things coming. Now, I want to know if it's kind of I think this will make a great segue question. Is it kind of odd being a cruiserweight and again, I really hope I don't butcher this. Anoa'I, is that how you say it?
Anoa'I, yeah, you got it.
Oh man, I nailed it. I didn't think I would. Anyways, is it weird being a cruiserweight at Anoa'I? Because, I mean, up until you showed up on the scene, the smallest ones are the Usos, and they're both heavyweights.
Yeah, it's not something that I've ever been intimidated about. Obviously, it's wrestling and size, it goes hand in hand. In some instances, you would love to have it, but it is what it is. And, I just try to make up for that with some really good work rate, a lot of quality work. I just try to, go out and work my own style. Obviously there's a lot of influence in there from the family, but, I'm a student of the game. I try to create my own style, how I want to be portrayed. And, I don't think the size thing has ever really affected me. I mean, if anything, it's given me this great opportunity, this past year. So, I would say that, maybe a couple years ago it would be a bad thing. The opportunities seem to, get further and further away, and, you just never know where the business was headed. But I think it's in a great place right now. I think you have, top heavyweight talent, and you got top cruiserweight talent. And I think that's the way that it should be. And, there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff going on.
That does sound very exciting. Now, from my understanding, you said it earlier, you're Alpha's nephew?
Yeah, that's correct.
Did your father or mother never wrestle themselves?
No, they were never involved in the business.
Really?
But my Uncle Alpha's, he's more like a father figure to me more than anything. Kind of helped raise me. I lived with him for, at different, parts of my life. So, it's definitely more than, just calling him uncle sometimes. So yeah, I've been around him my whole life, and I've been around. It's like I grew up, around live events and, training centers. So, when I was as of age, it was time to do it seriously.
Obviously being Anoa'I helps, but is there any specific thing that made you want to step into the ring?
I just think, over the years, just being lucky enough to see a lot of great things that, only made my love for the business grow more. Getting to go to some of the first Monday Night Raws ever, and later on in life, going to a bunch of WrestleManias, when my uncle was inducted in the Hall of Fame. So, I got to see a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff, and I don't know, I just think that made me, made me grow fonder of the business. I just couldn't wait till I was 14 years old, and which was the legal age to start training for real in Pennsylvania. So, I was, I like to, I like to say I was brought up in the ring. I was crawling around in that thing since I was a baby, and, I just fell in love with it more and more over the years.
Do you I mean, I don't know if you would know this for a fact or not, but do you think that other like younger members of Anoa'i, this is more like a choice or like a rite of passage?
Can you repeat that?
Do you think like stepping in the ring, at least giving it a try, like maybe not coming as far as you have, but at least getting like 1 or 2 years of training to see if you want to do it or not? Do you think that's more of like a choice or like a rite of passage?
Um, I think it's definitely a choice. It is. You don't always have to follow in your family's footsteps and things like that. But I just think, like I said, just being exposed to it at such an early age, and then just becoming more obsessed with it over the years. I mean, from the countless times of taping everything on VHSs to just going out there and buying DVDs from international companies. I'm a big Japanese wrestling fan and things like that. That all helped my main goal when I was when I was of age. So I think it's definitely a choice. If your parents are doctors, you don't always have to go out and set out to be a doctor. So it's definitely a choice. You have to have the passion, and especially in this business, it's the most physical form of entertainment you can find. So you have to realize what you're getting yourself into, and a lot of people try it and they realize it's not for them. In a couple of years or even a couple of months. But it's when you love something. I always say, like, the key to happiness in your life is going out there and doing something every day that you like to do. Not something that you just have to do.
Now, I'm really curious as to one thing is what is it? First of all, how close would you say you are to the rest of Anoa'i? I mean, obviously you have a very close relationship with your uncle Afa, but how close would you say you are with the rest of the family?
Um, the different family members, different situations. It's all love with everybody. We do a lot of family reunions frequently where we all see each other. At least once a year or once every couple of years. But some of my close people is Alpha Junior. I mentioned my uncle Alpha. He's more like a dad to me. Well, Alpha Junior is like a brother to me. I've been pretty close with him all my life. Then you got Lance, which is Samu's son. You got Samu himself, and especially now that I get to go on the road here and there. I've been to a bunch of Raws and Smackdowns, even as an extra. Doing some extra work. And the Usos and Roman, they always take care of me. They always look out for me. They always give me the best possible advice to be where they're at. And I'm just in the end, I'm in control of my own decisions and my own career. So I have to do what I have to do to make it. But I would say different members. I'm closer than others, but at the end of the day, it's a huge family. A part of the Samoan culture is the importance of family. So we try to keep that as tight as possible.
What is it like growing up with this specific family? I mean, like, in not just a wrestling family, but like one of the like big wrestling families to exist. I mean, Anoa'i is compared to the Hearts, the Guerreros. I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, not to overthink it. I mean, I just think it seems natural to me because this is all I know. This is all I was born into. From the outside looking in, it might be like, this crazy thing or whatever. But even though it's natural, I say it's natural. I'm still blessed to be a part of this thing. You know, uh, my uncle Alpha, he could be a character once you get to know him. He's pretty much no different than his wild Samoan days. Um, it's just I don't know. I'm very fortunate, I guess, to be in the family that I'm in, and it's always been fun over the years. Like I said, I mentioned the reunions, and the barbecues, and just the closeness that the Samoan culture preaches. I think it's been a pretty cool experience on my life.
That does sound like a really cool experience. Um, is there some places now? I guess going back to more the wrestling than the family. Is there some things you'd like to do before you finally step in to like a WWE a ring, like as a contracted wrestler?
Um, there's a lot of talent out there in the independent scene that I either grew up watching or I've gotten to learn from, but I never actually got in the ring with them and tied it up with them. So maybe there'd be a couple matches to accomplish there. Um, the biggest thing for me these days is trying to improve and just getting better and better and being the master of my own style. So I think working a lot of top independent guys could help that, and to really push me to the limit. Um, you know, I don't know. It's a hard question to answer. This is I've had many years of tryouts, and I've gotten a lot of good advice and feedback, and every single time I just try to show up better and better. And I think that's what led to the opportunity with the Classic. So besides a couple of maybe dream matches of mine on the independent scene, I think I don't know. It's just gonna be interesting what the future holds.
Are you comfortable with getting into the specifics of those dream matches? Like any opponents you'd really like to get in there with?
Oh yeah. First and foremost, Homicide. I grew up, just loving him from Jersey All Pro Wrestling days and Ring of Honor.
Wait, wasn't Homicide in TNA with LAX?
TNA too, yeah, exactly. Um, so I would love to work with him. You got Low Key, who's actually a Homicide student. I would love to work with him. Um, I think me and my buddy Chris Dickinson from the New England area, we have another match, ready to go since we haven't worked with each other in years. He's one of the guys I grew up with. Um, different matches like that because you never know when you're going to get them again or if you're ever going to get them. So those would be the matches that mean the most to me.
I guess that makes a lot of sense. I didn't know Homicide was still wrestling. I haven't ever since the TNA days. I always felt like he kind of just disappeared.
Yeah, he's still out there. I'm not sure if he wants to be as busy as he used to be, but he's still out there. I know he had a pretty serious shoulder injury that he's been working. I guess like the last 10 years with now.
Wow.
But yeah, he's still out there.
That's really cool. Many years ago, when I was first discovering like social medias and I can like ask wrestlers questions, he was one of like the first to ever like actually respond, but then like respond on a regular basis. Like I had like full on conversations with the guy. He always seemed really cool, and I was always wondering what happened to him.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he's always been a really good guy, and I don't know. There was something about him when I was growing up and when I was getting involved in the indies. Something was very appealing about him. Just the toughness, the realness that he brought into it. He just had a great mix of style of strong style, but then he could fly a little bit. He was a technician. It was. I don't know. He's just always been one of those guys to me, and I'm sure he knows it. How much I respect him. So matches like that would be ideal before having the opportunity to sign any kind of contract or anything.
I guess that makes a lot of sense because a lot of guys talk about like things they'd want to do. I was kind of surprised because you mentioned your love of Japanese wrestling, and so far you've made no mention of wanting to be in a place like that.
Oh well, Japan's always been a place I would love to wrestle in. Just knowing how it was back in the day. Just being a young boy and going through the dojo and waking up at 4 a.m. and doing that whole thing. I would still love that experience. I don't know. I guess I've got to work two of the best wrestlers that Japan's ever seen this year. So I was pretty content with that. But there's a pretty big list of potential matches that I see myself going in there and tearing it up with. Um, you know, Kenta's been Hideo Itami. He's been one of my favorites to watch for years now. So that match that we had at NXT, you can only imagine how I was feeling with a guy that I respect that much, and also having that being my first match with NXT, it's pretty special. Ibushi, recognized as one of the best talent in the world. He's probably, as of right now, I'll go out on a limb and say he's the best talent that I've ever been in the ring with. Just unbelievable motion and just so smooth. Um, besides those two guys, there's a bunch of guys I would like to work with, but Homicide and Low Key and guys like that, they're in a different part of my mind because I kind of grew up a little bit closer with that stuff.
I'd definitely like to see you go one-on-one with Kota again, but maybe in his home territory of Japan. I think that'd be a very interesting matchup.
That'd be something.
Because you guys put on a heck of a show, not to lick any boots or anything like that.
I appreciate it.
Now, I kind of thought of this while I was thinking about guys you'd like to fight, and now I really am very curious. If you could take on any other member of Anoa'I, past or present, dead or alive, who would you want to face in a match?
Oh,
man. We got a little sillier on this one, but I think this is a fun question.
I guess you have to look at the most successful person in the family, which would be The Rock. That would just be something else. But with his charisma and he's always been great in the ring. I think I could work great with him, to be honest. But a little bit more realistically, I would pick my cousin Alpha Jr. Believe it or not, he's always been a hell of a talent. He's got a great mix of doing different things in the ring, similar to what I like to do. He's always shown his agility and athleticism at times, which a lot of people in the family have. But I don't know, something I think we would just click the most, because of our experiences, as far as growing up and things like that. So I would definitely say Alpha Jr.
That does sound like a pretty good match. I think you guys make a great tag team too, considering how close you guys are.
Yeah, we actually, when he was finished with the WWE, I got to tag team with him for a little short while. I want to say like a year or a year and a half or so. Different independent companies out there. It was a great experience, learning from somebody that was just fresh off the road, and he guided me in the right lane, and he's always been helpful with my career and my moves and my style in general. So I got to tag with him for a little bit, and nothing but great experiences there.
Sounds like a pretty great experience, but I'm curious, how old are you?
28.
You're only 28?
I just turned 28 in September, yeah.
Wow, you actually have a lot of time ahead of you then. I was going to, I thought you were a little bit older. I was going to ask if there's, if now that you're fresh off the road in your own sense, if you see yourself passing down some of your knowledge to other indie wrestlers you may bump into.
Well, the cool part about being active with the training center that I still, I go to, Wild Samoan Training Center, right here in outside of Orlando, Florida. Now since I'm one of the guys that has the most experience that actively shows up, now I actually can pass down some knowledge through that, through like a trainer, through a trainer sense. So that's been pretty cool. I've been doing that the last couple of years actually, of just giving the younger guys everything that I know and everything that I got. The training center has has been almost like a staple in our family. My uncle Alpha, he's gone on to help a lot of guys and get a lot of great opportunities. And now I'm one of his trainers at the school. I enjoy it. I enjoy passing down knowledge and seeing guys progress and getting better, and getting them, just between me and my uncle, just getting them ready for the opportunities that they're about to see. So I do try to pass down whatever I know. By all means, I don't think I know it all. I still have a long way to go. I don't think you ever stop learning in the business, but whatever I can give back, especially at the training center, that's pretty good for me.
I didn't realize you were one of the trainers at Wild Samoan. I mean, a couple months ago, I started my wrestling training with a local independent federation in my hometown, but obviously you always want to go to a real school. Do you have anything to say about Wild Samoan?
I just think it's one of the highest quality training centers out there. Maybe it probably sounds biased coming from me, but I think it's always had a great reputation over the years. I think it's a great place to learn. Um, who else better to learn from? Learn under than a Hall of Famer. I think all that stuff is important. I think you can get pretty good training with with guys that you're not so familiar with, but I think you definitely want to look at the guys that have paved the way first and have been there and done it. The training center's just been it's just been a blast. I used to live in Staten Island, New York, all my life, and the training center was located in Pennsylvania, which was about a 2-hour drive away from me. So that's how I started. I begged my mom to drive me here and there, and sometimes she didn't mind because she got to see the family too. And then once I was old enough to drive, I was making that trip nonstop. I just wanted to be in the ring. I knew I was going to be turning 18 soon, so I just wanted to be as ready as possible. So I've been technically I've been training for half my life now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's definitely a great school to attend, and it's definitely the place that I've gained my most experience over the years.
Now, out of pure curiosity, let's say we cut, a bunch of years in the future. You're looking at retirement, and you have a son of your own. Do you think you'd like to see him step in between those ropes like you did?
Oh, I've never been asked that before.
Well, this is the kind of show we ask tough people tough questions.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of parents would be skeptical, even the ones that have been there and done it, because you don't want your son or even daughter to feel the pain and that physicality that you've had to go through. But I think it goes hand in hand with our earlier topic with it's all about choices, and that would have to be something that comes from them. I would never push that on anybody. It's such a risky and dangerous sport, but when somebody has the passion and they're willing to accept all the repercussions and all that, why not do it? Why not follow your dreams and follow your heart? So I would definitely be open to that. I think I have a long way until I can I have to make that I have to go through an experience like that, but I would have no problems with that. And in fact, it would only make me happy and only make me proud. Of course, you always want your loved ones to be safe, no matter what they're doing. But it comes with great risk comes great reward. And if they got the passion to do it, if they love it that much, I would say good luck.
Before we move on to our fan questions, I always ask every guest on my show this same question. Do you have any tips for a wrestler in training?
far as tips for training, I would say just watch as much as possible. I would say, definitely study your technique, um, motions, ring movements, all that good stuff. And when it's time to get in the ring, just piece it together. Just work hard, stay committed to the process, no matter how hard it is, no matter how frustrating it could get. Just stick to the plan and keep the eyes on the prize, and always do everything you can to better your craft.
Now, this one actually I can ask you more specifically. Any tips for a cruiserweight? I mean, I'm in pretty good shape, and I'm not even 180. I think I've been told that at my most, I'm probably wouldn't not even hit 205.
Yeah, kind of a similar deal. There's really not much of a, besides your style preference, it's not really much of a difference there between, any advice a heavyweight would receive. I think the biggest misconception right now is that since you're a cruiserweight, you have to be a high flyer. And, even though we've seen a lot of, amazing things, from this year alone, there's a lot of talent out there that doesn't take that kind of risk, but also relies on their own style to give the people how they want to be portrayed. Just a guy that comes in my mind is Jack Gallagher, who's on a roll right now on 205, and you don't ever see him doing anything like that. But when it comes to technician and technical wrestling and creativity, he's got it. So I would just just say to anybody else, stay committed to the process. If you can put on the size, do it. Stay active in the gym. No matter if you're going to be 200 pounds all your life or you're training to be 250, still stay active in the gym. Keep your body going, and just be ready for that opportunity when it comes.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now we're going to move on to the fan questions. We got a couple here for you. First of all, on Instagram from Fatboy with a PH, WWE, which CWC competitor did you not get a chance to compete with that you really, really wanted to?
Well, this is like a eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because there's so many.
You can name a couple.
Talent that was in the tournament. I would have to say my man Rich Swann. I think he's got an appealing style. He can do things like nobody else can. I don't know. I just picture me and him mixing it up pretty well in there. But like I said, if this was before the classic and you asked me who can I wrestle, who do I want to wrestle, I would definitely pick Ibushi. So I think I had the best opponent in my eyes that I could have had. But like I said, if putting him aside, I would have said Swan or even a TJP or somebody like that. Even Akira Tozawa, another popular Japanese talent. I think I can mix it well with all those guys.
That does sound pretty awesome. I think it would have been really cool to see you fight Dar.
Yeah, I like Dar too. Like I said, just an all-star list of talent. And Dar is actually one of the guys I was talking with and BSing around the most during the classic. So it was cool to meet with him.
I just think it would have been really cool, he's a bit technical. You can fly and kick and stuff. I think it would have been a really cool spot. I'm imagining the match in my mind, and we got a super kick coming from you, and somehow he pulls some technical wizardry and locks you in the knee bar. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Well, you never know. It could still happen. So
that could still happen, man. That on the dream card. I have this dream card I write after every single interview I do. Dar versus Sean Maluta. That's on the dream card. If I ever ran
That's
my own
awesome.
show, that's what would happen. All right. Chase Dune official on Instagram wants to know what was the feeling you had stepping into the NXT locker room for the couple of appearances that you made.
Um, that was interesting because I've actually have had a lot of NXT bookings in the past, but for whatever reason I was never used. But just by that, I was able to meet a lot of the guys. I was familiar with most of the locker room already. But it's a different feel when you know that you have to go to work and you know that you're going to be competing on in that capacity. Um, I think the roster is great. Everybody's very nice to me and welcoming. A lot of guys might not give extras the time of day sometimes, but for the most part, everybody's been just great to work with. I think they have an all-star list of producers there and agents, coaches. Between the William Regals and the Matt Blooms, the Norman Smileys, just everybody is just so welcoming and so great, and so much knowledge they offer. So it was to answer that question, just very great vibe, great experience, and honestly a dream come true to be working with Hideo Itami in my first appearance. I think I had two of the coolest first matches you can ever have with the company, with wrestling Ibushi and then wrestling Itami. So I'm very blessed for that. Very proud of it, and like I said, nothing but a great time.
Zach _900Z wants to know, does being in Anoa'I ever add any pressure to you when you're stepping in the ring?
I would say just a little bit, but excuse me 1 second. I would say just a little bit, but mainly it's the pressure that I put on myself to succeed. When you're a goal-oriented guy and you always envision things a certain way, and it's mainly more of the pressure that I put on myself. Obviously I would love to be as successful, if not more, than a lot of the guys that I've seen in my family to follow the footsteps. But it just hasn't been my time yet. At least in a full-time capacity. But nothing but proudness from those guys. About those guys, I mean, Roman and the Usos, they're really holding it down for the family right now. So that's been cool to watch, from week to week. I don't know, the pressure is there, but I really don't think that it's family. It comes from the family. It's mainly my own pressures that I put on myself.
Our last fan question. This one comes from Facebook. A gentleman by the name of Marcus Jogler Sr. wants to know, what is your diet like, and what's your favorite food to eat before and after a tough match?
My diet is pretty clean for the most part. It could always be better and always be cleaner, but I just I'm just very basic. I have my eggs in the morning with my oatmeal. Lunch could vary. Between tuna sandwiches and things like that. And then I've been pretty big on steak lately, so I guess steak would be my favorite food to eat, especially before and after a match. Can't really go wrong with it. Gets the job done, fills you up, and it's pretty good for you. So for dinner I like to have some kind of meat like that, steak or chicken. I would say my favorite good food to have is steak, and then if I'm going all out one day, then I'm a pretty big pizza fan, so I would definitely say pizza in that regard.
Pizza is pretty great. All right. Thank you very much for being a guest on my program.
appreciate it, man. Anytime, and thank you very much for having me on.
No problem at all. Is there anything you want to plug away before we sign off here?
WXWWrestling.com. That's my home promotion. Currently the world champion there. You can catch me at least once or twice a month there. You can go to the website for all the dates. Very active with that company. I'm going to be wrestling in Fort Lauderdale the beginning of January. If anybody's in that area, check it out. It's a brand new company opening up. It's called Platinum Pro Wrestling. And I'm looking to do a lot more traveling. I would love to continue working for Beyond Wrestling, who I just had a great experience with last week. Once again, there was a lot of training questions before. If you ever want to check into my training center, or at least the one that I've been very active in, it's the Wild Samoan Training Center, which is thewildsamoan.com. Check it out. If you want to join one of the masters that can, really make something out of you, definitely check that out. I guess that's about it. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at Savatkick, Facebook, Sean Maluta. And, just stay tuned because you never know what's going to be going down next.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on to the show, Sean. Ladies and gentlemen, before we bail, I just want to plug my second podcast I'm starting up this Sunday, Ring Rope Radio. Me and my fellow trainees, Manzi and Stephen Pym, going to have a lot of fun talking current wrestling. Thank you guys for joining us. Follow me on all the social medias. I'll have links in the description. I'll put Sean Maluta's, all his links in the description. Thank you very much for joining us.